Little Germany is a complete loss at this point. The road to Little Germany is completely washed away.
We shouldn't have worked. We shouldn't have been there. None of us should have been there.
Are you doing okay?
Yeah. It's gonna take a long time.
Thursday marks 6 months since floodwaters from Helene ripped through parts of East Tennessee, Southwest Virginia, and Western North Carolina.
Carter and Johnson County were two counties hit hard by the storm. This is what it looked like on Roan Mountain on the morning of September 27th.
We're here in Roan Mountain, where you can see behind me a massive flooding event. Homes and cars underwater, and everyone here is just trying to stay safe. More than 15 families have found shelter at Cloudland High School, but the destruction in Roan Mountain is devastating. The water levels came up quick, leaving many without options. Emergency officials tell us rescue and recovery efforts will continue as long as necessary.
Yeah, we want everybody to stay off the roads right now. Our responders, our highway department, our electric company, everybody is out to full force. Every team is out. So we're working just as hard as we can. We know we're going to have power outages the rest of the night.
The water level quickly rose around the community, and many were forced to evacuate, including Stephanie King.
So my other half actually got called into work because he works for housing development in Avery County, and it was bad up there and got worse before it got bad here. And then the alarm started going off at the fire department.
King says now it's a waiting game.
I mean, hopefully the water will go down quickly is all I can hope for, and hopefully we can go back home and kind of try to go back to a normal. But if not, I guess we'll stay here until it's over.
The extent of the damage in Roan Mountain is still unclear. Emergency crews say everyone should stay off the roads unless it's absolutely necessary. In Roan Mountain, Liam Bridgman, News 5, WCYB.
Our region has come a long way in the 6 months since Helene's devastation, but there is still a long way to go. News 5's Kayla Perney shows us the progress in Carter and Johnson counties and explains what comes next.
Johnson County Mayor Larry Potter showed me the work state contractors are doing to remove storm debris from Watauga Lake. Massive multi-story piles of logs cover this field. The blank spaces where crews have ground up piles just as large. But the biggest challenge Johnson County still faces is repairing local roads.
After the hurricane, I said, we just don't need a bad winter. Well, guess what? It's been bad.
Potter showed me one of the temporary bridges connecting a devastated community. He says countywide, they've spent $1 million on gravel that keeps washing or wearing away during bad weather. Potter says the county has pulled money from debt payments to keep the highway department solvent.
I went to Nashville begging for money, begging for help, and they don't understand.
TDOT crews have repaired and reopened highways 91 and 421 going into the county. And state lawmakers have set aside $110 million to pay for interest on loans counties are having to take out, plus $240 million to reduce how much local government has to contribute to FEMA-funded projects. But Mayor Potter is still waiting for answers about that FEMA funding.
We got to advertise. You got to put it out for bid. And like I told Nashville, I said, if we don't get this on this October 31st, other than Halloween, we could get in this same weather pattern again.
Potter says the county's long-term recovery group has been vital. At First Christian Church, they're packing lunches for volunteers. Pastor Dwayne Dixon says they're hosting about 20 a week from out of town.
My goal from probably about 2 months into this was to have this county completely and totally restored in 2 years.
When Helene struck, the focus was on supply distribution. Now they've moved to the rebuild. 15 homes are now ready to move back in.
We're looking towards everything they will need to get back into their home, appliances and just all their household goods.
In Carter County, it's a similar story with their long-term recovery group. We found volunteers from just outside Knoxville helping repair a bathroom after Helene brought 19 inches of water in the house. Cynthia Bruitz had a stroke while she was being rescued from her home by boat.
Even though in your heart you know that God is giving you the strength to go on day by day, someone that comes and shows how much they care about you means a lot when you think you've lost everything.
Bruitz says she ran out of retirement savings while repairing her home. Still no answer from her flood insurance, and FEMA can't help until her insurance makes a decision.
We will put you on our list for a camper too.
At Grace Baptist Church, volunteers are still taking calls. The wall's covered with more than 100 jobs they've completed or are still working on. 74 people lost their homes in Carter County. Another 338 have major damage.
It has been our citizens helping our citizens. That's the way it was in the early days, and that's the way it is still now. We've had some other organizations come in and come alongside, but that's primarily been where the need has been met.
Are there folks that still need help? I assume they're still
Oh, I'm sure they are. It's just been tough situations. You know, you try to help people, and I don't know how many times you hear somebody else needs it worse than I do. Sorry.
Are you doing okay?
Yeah. It's going to take a long time.
A long time where these communities say they'll need your help and prayers. Caleb Perney, News 5, WCYB.
Carter County school leaders say they're still waiting for answers from FEMA to decide the future of Hampton High School, which was severely damaged by Helene's floods. They expect FEMA to decide in the next month whether the school can be repaired or if it should be replaced. That comes down to whether a repair would be more than half the cost of replacement. Director of Schools Brandon Carpenter says the main building has been cleaned and is in good shape, but he says they would be required to move vocational buildings out of the floodplain. The big question is about the sewer system.
The flood caused the river elevation to change, and of course it washed out our sewer system. So there's a lot of uncertainty about whether or not we can put a system back.
State lawmakers have set aside $20 million to replace Hampton High School. Carpenter says plans for multiple options are already being drafted, so the school board can act quickly once FEMA makes its decision. They say they've already ruled out closing the school and merging with another. The Elk Mill Hoagie communities in Carter County were cut off from the rest of the world in the immediate aftermath of the storm.
Now, though, 2 temporary bridges connect the community. But without Highway 321, it takes an extra half an hour detour to get in and out. Crews are working on restoring the highway, building a retaining wall to reconstruct the land the road sat on. The community's general store and fire department were also washed away with plans to rebuild. Right now, the sheriff's office and health department have set up a temporary outpost.
We've seen a lot of flooding in this area, but we never imagined anything like this. We've had that water come up to the doors in the building that used to be here, but nothing 20 foot over the top of it.
Fire Chief Michael Walsh says 4 homes were destroyed, but he says everyone has housing, some in campers, while they rebuild.